Hello writers. Writing a comedy script can be hard. And as they say, it's best to learn from example. So, here are the best comedy scripts that you can download and read to help make writing a comedy script that much easier. Study these funny scripts and learn how to amp up the funny in your own screenplay. My name's Elijah Lee, and cue the intro. We tried to cater to most tastes by including a variety of styles and genres, from independent comedy drama scripts to buddy action comedies. But even if, say, a funny drama script really isn't your thing, read it anyway. If you want to improve as a comedy writer, it is essential that you read as many comedy scripts as possible, and every one of these comedy scripts is well worth your time. So enjoy. Number 1, 21 Jump Street. The 21 Jump Street script puts a new spin on the buddy action movie genre by giving just as much weight to the comedy as to the action. It takes the premise of the original TV show but twists the tone from straight action into an out-and-out comedy. Always think, how can I subvert the genre? How can I mix the genre and create something new? Number 2, ANCHORMAN, The Legend of Ron Burgundy. Selling comedy scripts in Hollywood is a tough business, but a surefire way to make it much easier is to give us a protagonist who leaps off the page. Make him or her someone unique and memorable, and most of all, funny. Ron Burgundy is just that guy. And not only that, but the writers Will Ferrell and Andy McKay also used the trick of showing us a world in a different way. Now, of course, writing a comedy script that satirizes a 1970s world of mainstream media wouldn't be fresh, but back in the early 2000s, it hadn't been done before. So look for those opportunities in your comedy scripts. Number 3, The Big Lebowski. A great way of putting a new twist on a genre is to combine it with another. This is exactly what the Coen brothers did when they created the Raymond Chandler-esque crime story and infused it with a strong dose of surreal, dope-infused humor. The brothers only wrote 40 pages of a first draft before hitting a roadblock in the story. So they decided to sit on it for a while and work on other projects before coming back to it. Apparently, this is a method that they often use and find when they return to a script after some time, they're full of fresh ideas and eager to dive back in. In other words, there's no one correct way to write a comedy script. Number 4, The Big Sick. The script by actors Emily V. Gordon and Kumail Nanjiani is semi-autobiographical. The main storyline is based on their actual courtship before they got married, and many of the events actually happen in one form or another. Mining your own life for material for a comedy screenplay can be a good way of finding an idea. It means you'll be writing from a point of personal pain, so the story will feel more real. However, it's also important to make it funnier than real life. While this script spawned a big hit at the box office, many felt the movie lacked conflict and real laughs, and this is probably because the writers relied so much on their real life experiences. Number 5, Crazy Rich Asians. This movie that proved romantic comedies can still be huge worldwide hits was based on the best-selling novel by Kevin Kwan. His book was also inspired by the events in his personal life, and he began writing it after his father died as a way to cope with grief. Due to the current state of our industry that loves scripts based on existing popular works, publishing a novel first is always an option for aspiring screenwriters, especially if you're based in another state or another country altogether. Number 6, Easy A. This is a smart high school teen comedy that writer Bert V. Royal claims to have written in 5 days, apart from the climax. It's a great comedy screenplay to study if you're writing a high school comedy. It's worth paying particular attention to the dramatic use of theme to highlight Olive's character arc. Number 7, The Edge of 17. How this wonderful comedy drama script got made is a fine example of a writer punching above their weight. If you have a great comedy screenplay and a favorite producer or director, there's nothing to stop you from sending it into them and seeing what happens. This is exactly what fairly new screenwriter Kelly Freeman Craig did when she sent a copy of the script to James L. Brooks, and he ended up becoming her mentor. What drew him in was Craig's unique voice on the page. Read the script and you'll see why. Number 8, Game Night. The Game Night script is one of the best comedy scripts of recent years. Again, it's one that skillfully mixes genres, this time black comedy and thriller. Its writer, who co-wrote the underrated 2006 comedy screenplay Accepted starring Justin Long and Jonah Hill, was asked by the film producer John Fox for story ideas. He drew inspiration from classic 80s comedies and pitched him the idea about a game night among friends that goes wrong. Fox, Jason Bateman, and New Line Cinema loved the idea, and the rest is history. Number 9, Girls Trip. Much like Amy Poehler's movie Wine Country, this is one of those comedy scripts you should read if you're writing a multi-protagonist. It's also a great screenplay to read to learn how to write the essential elements in a modern comedy movie. Number 10, Horrible Bosses. This is one of the best comedy scripts to read if you have 3 protagonists. Note how it's not until page 35 of the script that we find the end of Act 1 with Nick's line, "I'm in." He finally commits to the plan for them to kill their bosses, and we have a goal for Act 2. Now, most screenwriting books and gurus would say this is too late to push into Act 2. But here, it works perfectly. We've had so much fun seeing Nick, Dale, and Kurt getting badly treated by their bosses that we don't even notice how late the act break arrives. In fact, we needed that much time to get to know the 3 protagonists. Number 11, Ingrid Goes West. A troubled young woman moves to LA in order to stalk and hopefully befriend her idol, an Instagram star. It's this simple high-concept idea that makes you want to see the movie. But it's the execution of the idea that makes it one of the best comedy scripts in recent years. It was also Matt Spicer and David Branson Smith's first produced comedy screenplay, and there is some good advice to be gleaned from their co-writing process. Number 12, Juno. Every pro screenwriter has a slightly different story to tell of how they broke into the industry. The Juno script was Diablo Cody's ticket. First, she had a blog about being a stripper. This landed her a book deal, which led to being asked to write a script based on the book. But first, she needed a writing sample to show studios. Having decided she wanted the writing sample that would become Juno to be about adoption, she began the research process. Far too many aspiring screenwriters skip this part, but don't be one of them. Collect real-life stories about your subject matter. Number 13, Legally Blonde. An older entry on this list, but still one that all comedy writers should read. The screenplay was adapted from a novel based on the author's real-life experience. Amanda Brown, just like the story's protagonist, Elle Woods, was a blonde fashionista at the top law school. The screenwriters exaggerated the conflict the author endured at Stanford and turned Elle Woods into one of the most memorable characters in comedy. Number 14, Little Miss Sunshine. The script was started on May 23, 2000, and 3 days later had a completed rough draft. The writer later sold it to one of the film producers for over $250,000. Not bad for a first-time screenwriter. This is a great example of how a newbie screenwriter can break into the industry through sheer hard work, and of course, more than a little talent. Number 15, Midnight in Paris. This screenplay, like most Woody Allen comedy scripts, is a great one to study in order to understand how to implement a strong theme. The idea of a nostalgic screenwriter, Gil, in Paris with his fiancée, who finds himself being transported back to the 1920s every night, probably came to Woody Allen off the cuff. But imagine if the script he then wrote just had Gil getting into meaningless adventures in 1920s Paris. Imagine the script had nothing to say about the nature of nostalgia and learning how to live in the present. Always remember, a strong theme will make your comedy screenplay resonate and elevate it above the competition. Number 16, Ratatouille. Ratatouille is not only one of the best animated scripts ever made, but one of the best comedy scripts ever written, whether animated or live action. Unlike many Pixar movies that are often action-adventure based, this tale about a master chef rat is pure comedy. In fact, that is what persuaded writer-director Brad Bird to come on board. He was taken in not only by the high concept of a rat who fears kitchen yet longs to work in one, but also by the potential for so much physical comedy. A must-read for all budding comedy writers. Number 17, School of Rock. Mike White is maybe best known for the 2003 movie School of Rock. The version included here is from June 7, 2002 and has a completely different opening to the shooting draft. Number 18, Step Brothers. Two middle-aged losers still living at home with their single parents are forced to become roommates when their parents finally marry. This is a great idea for a comedy script, but how did the writers come up with it? Adam McKay was kicking around new story ideas with some fellow writers and someone said, bunk beds. McKay then had the idea, why can't they have bunk beds for grown-ups? And the idea for stepbrothers being forced to share a room grew from there. Number 19, Superbad. This simple story about two high school singers trying to impress some girls by throwing a mammoth house party could easily have wound up feeling empty. What places the Superbad script above the pack, however, is its heart. The fact that Seth and Evan are two codependent friends who suffer from separation anxiety is what gives this comedy screenplay its heart. Always look for this level of depth in your characters' relationships, and you can make even the simplest of storylines shine. Number 20, Ted. Interestingly, Seth MacFarlane originally conceived of Ted as another animated TV show in the vein of Family Guy, The Cleveland Show, and American Dad. However, he changed his mind and brought on fellow Family Guy writer Alex Sulkin to create this R-rated comedy about a slacker who lives with his talking teddy bear. As you read the script, note how thick and fast the jokes come. If you want to be a Hollywood comedy writer, you can't afford to just have a joke here and there. There need to be a lot of them, and you can see that in Ted. Also note that despite the R-rated humor, particularly every scene relates back to the core conflict surrounding John's flaw. Will he remain a slacker pothead who hangs out with a teddy bear, or will he grow up and marry his girlfriend and finally become a man? Alright writers, that was our video. What do you think? Think we missed anything? If you do, make sure to let us know in the comments below. Also, if you liked the video, give us a like. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already. You can check out our other videos here. My name's Elijah Lee. This is Script Reader Pro. Check out our website at scriptreaderpro.com, and I'll catch you guys next time.